Hi, and welcome to The Final Wake Up. I'm your host, Madison Palika, holistic health coach, certified HeartMath mentor, published author of a #1 Amazon new release, and creator of ebooks and courses that help you become the best you possible. I am passionate about bringing light to a world full of darkness and confusion. After becoming deathly ill, as well as severely anxious, and having doctors give me no solutions, I had to find my own way to health. I was mind blown by the things that I was finding, and I became obsessed with helping other people find health and happiness outside of the system too. I'm here to help you become happy and empowered so that you can also live a life full of meaning. You will love The Final Wake Up if you're ready to dodge the traps that this world has set for you. If you want more, you can head to my Instagram page at madison.palika. Join my club at the link in my bio to be the first one to know about sales, product launches, life updates, and to get early access and discounts. And now, on to today's episode. If you're not watching Ancient Apocalypse Season 2, The Americas, I don't know what you're even doing. It's the series on Netflix by Graham Hancock, and from what this could be kind of wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he started out being just like a big history buff guy. He calls himself an investigative journalist, but then he started smoking weed and probably dabbling with psychedelics, and it took his historical research down a complete different path until he started investigating alternative history and like ancient advanced civilizations, all this kind of stuff. So in the show, he's going through and showing all the evidence that an ancient civilization did exist. It's like I watched the show and I totally agree with most of his stuff. One thing I don't agree on is he thinks, well, he'll always say like, oh, we need to listen to the myths and traditions of these ancient cultures. And then he'll listen to them say, oh, it was a giant who came and gave us this knowledge. And he says, I don't think it was a giant. Maybe it was a giant of intellect. Sir, come on now. I know. Like, he's got to do some more research into the giant bones and stuff. Like, look into the Smithsonian and whatnot. But I believe these cultures. I believe that they were giants. And I believe they were giants because I believe that giants did exist. And what giants were is they were the hybrid offspring of fallen angels, okay, the Watchers, like in the Book of Enoch, and human women. And they mated and they created offspring. And these half divine, half human offspring were giants. And you hear all the time in ancient cultures about demigods and hybrids, like hybrid divine human beings. That's what I believe it was. As you'll see in the show, all of these cultures talk about a great ancient flood that was sent as judgment, basically, because the people were wicked, to destroy the world. And there's like a few remaining survivors. And after the floodwaters recede, this divine or half divine or giant being appears and teaches them all this advanced knowledge to restart their civilization. I believe that these were the giants and that they were semi-divine. And I believe this because the flood was sent to wipe out the giants. If it did its job, there would be no talk of races of giants after the flood in the Bible, but there is. There are giants after the flood in the Bible, so not every giant was killed. And they were killed because they not only were wicked, but they were like accepting worship, and they were also cannibals, and they were eating humanity. But they also had other like corruption, like they were teaching people like occult stuff, magic. And yeah, so these giants continued on after the flood, and my hypothesis, okay, my theory is that these giants continued after the flood, sailed around the world, found these cultures, like the last remaining people who actually still existed after the floods receded. They taught them everything that they knew, and I believe that they accepted worship from them. Now, we know, like, maybe people like Graham Hancock would think, like, whatever, they can accept worship because they had this advanced technology and taught these people everything they knew. Like, obviously they're going to be worshipped. But in the context of the Bible, this is idol worship. This is false worship. This is the worship of false gods. And I think that these giants gladly accepted that, you know? What you know as demons, demons are the spirit of the giants who died in the flood, that are stuck on earth. So the still living giants are just demons who have human form at this point. So people are worshiping demons because they've given them this forbidden knowledge, basically. I don't know for sure, but my guess is that most of these cultures also practice things like animal and human sacrifice. These cultures were sacrificing their children. So like people like Graham Hancock might think that, oh my gosh, there was this ancient advanced culture, they were amazing, they taught humanity all this awesome stuff. But it's like, no, they also taught them stuff for the trade of being sacrificed innocent human souls on the altar. And I think that's something that he overlooks. I think that he does a disservice by not believing the tales of physical giants showing up. I think that there were physical giants. And my theory, because you'll watch the show and you find out that, like, okay, these cultures were obsessed with astronomy, astrology, just the heavens, like the placement of the stars, the moon, all that stuff. And what's really interesting about it is that this stuff happens to be resurfacing now, and people are gaining the knowledge and the scientific advancements to be able to date these structures and look at the skies 13,000 years ago. But what they're finding is that the stuff that these ancient cultures were warning about is happening now in the heavens. Happening now. Hi, my fellow truth seekers. I just wanted to pop in very quickly and let you know that my email list is begging for you to join it. This little insider exclusive club is for you if you're dying to know what I'm gonna launch next, and if you want early access and special discounts. You can join today at the link in my Instagram bio at madison.palika. Like his theory, Graham Hancock, is that they knew that this cycle would happen in the future and that people would be in danger. So they were warning people by drawing out the skies and all of this stuff. Well, the stuff that they were warning about is happening in the heavens now. And it's like, this would be such a good way for people to learn about this stuff and then start to engage in the same beliefs as these cultures who were being instructed by this ancient advanced race of people. It would be very easy for people to get really into their forbidden knowledge and to start to look into the deities that they worshipped and even start worshiping themselves. Start doing rituals, start worshiping the heavens, start looking into people like Quetzalcoatl. Like, I could very much see that happening because people have lost their spiritual roots on earth, and I feel like it's something that everyone's looking for. And it seems like this is giving the answers, you know, like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. There is a design to the universe. These ancient cultures knew it, so let's look at what they were doing and mimic that, repeat that. But what they don't realize is that these ancient cultures were absolutely corrupted spiritually. And that by engaging in these things, like one of the things he says is that they were given ayahuasca as a way to channel these beings who gave them the knowledge after they were gone, after they were back up into the heavens or died or whatever. And it's like, I know as a Christian that when you're doing ayahuasca and you're meeting these deities and getting this knowledge and intelligence, you are speaking to demons. You are speaking to a dark spiritual realm that presents itself as light. Like, they are so smart. Obviously, they're going to be deceptive. They're going to show themselves to be the good guys and that they're helping you and they're giving you knowledge and ideas, and it feels good, you know, but it's just such a spiritual deception. And yes, there was the flood that wiped out corruption from some greater being, you know. Maybe not all of it got wiped out, but you got to look at the idea that, like, why were they being wiped out? If they were such an advanced culture, why would there be a flood sent to wipe them out? And if there was a flood sent to wipe them out, as most cultures around the world believe, because they were corrupted, why would you want to follow these people? And it's because they didn't leave this knowledge, like, in the grander scheme for us to, like, see it and become enlightened by it. This knowledge is like eating of the tree of good and evil in the Garden of Eden, I believe. I believe that when people go down this route and start to follow the advanced cultures and the knowledge that they left behind, that they are engaging in occult idol worship, and that the true spirituality, it's like, I think that these events are coinciding now as a way to awaken humanity, but the awakening is not that we need to go back to these ways of these ancient cultures. The awakening is that we need Jesus, and that these cultures were destroyed because they deviated from God. And that's it. These cultures were destroyed because they deviated from God. God was sending punishment to destroy them because they were corrupting humanity. But some of them survived somehow, and they decided to pass on all that they could to any remaining surviving people because they didn't want to give up that power. And yes, they were advanced, but advanced doesn't mean good. There is for sure an awakening that's going on now. I do believe that there is cycles in the world and humanity. Like, we live in a cyclical universe. And I don't think it's any coincidence that we happen to be understanding these people at exactly the time period that they were warning us about. And in Graham Hancock's eyes, it's like, oh, they're warning us that if we don't start to live in unity and blah, 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 like these old cultures, then we'll be destroyed, or like another cataclysm could happen. But I think it's just the opposite. It's like he is believing in these new age ideas of a lifting of consciousness and enlightenment, when really that is exactly what will get you destroyed. That is what will get you destroyed. And the real answer is living back in alignment with the creator of the universe, Jesus. And that's all I have to say. What do you think? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Final Wake Up. I hope this episode sparked a flame in you to march forward in your journey for truth, health, happiness, and meaning. If you want to dive even deeper down the rabbit hole, go to my Instagram at madison.palika. There I have so many highlights dedicated to spreading even more information and value. You can also join the club with my email list, linked in my bio, to stay up to date on all the latest news, sales, and new offerings. Or if you want to talk to me personally, please send me a DM. I would love to hear from you. If you love this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave an amazing review. Bonus points if you share this to your story and write what you learned. Tag me in it so that I can connect and see how this has actually helped you. If you know somebody who would really appreciate this, or somebody who desperately needs to hear what I talked about in this episode, please send this to them. Together, we can bring light to this world full of confusion and help people thrive. Thank you, and see you next time.